Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Follow-Up Friday. Trying to do something a little different this morning. We're going to talk about communications or how we communicate with ourselves. So again, I'm trying something new, and it'll be revealed shortly if you haven't already figured it out. We've over time we've had many different ways of communicating. I mean, back in the day, we could use the two cans and a string type situation to communicate with each other. Then we had telegraph, and then we had if I can get this up here, the telephone. And we didn't have to wait for mail to be delivered and get information that might take a couple of weeks to get to us. We were able to communicate fairly rapidly with folks, and we were able to do that and stay connected in a reasonable pace. And then things got a little bit more complicated, and now we've got more tools, and some of them are coming quite handy given the fact that we are having difficulties meeting together and have the greatest form of communication that I like, and that's face-to-face conversation. So, as I was thinking about this morning, what I wanted to share with you about how we tend to communicate with ourselves and getting information out of there, I realized that I learned a lot over the past year or so, and I'm using tools that I never thought I'd be using. Well, one here is obviously Facebook, and with Zoom now, I can go on my Zoom account and live stream directly from Zoom into Facebook. So I hope this is working out okay, and I'll explain in a little bit what you're seeing in the background. So, and as you know, we're coming up on a year's time where we've been doing these Friday morning chats to connect with each other. And since then, I've also do a couple other things. I'm putting these things up on YouTube, so folks who don't have Facebook accounts or don't like to go on Facebook because of all other stuff that happens to be on there, links to YouTube channels can be sent to them so that they can get these messages and get the information. Again, trying to find different ways to stay connected. And also, too, lately, I've kind of dove in the blog realm, and that's going very well. Next Friday will be the third signpost that we've been talking about body image. And then after that, there'll be several more constellations or signposts, as I call them, to discuss to finish the journey. So I hope you take time to go through and find the blogs on the website, because that's another form of communication where I get a chance to share my thoughts, my struggles, my successes in my journey to a healthier lifestyle. And I thought that was kind of remarkable, thinking back about, when Dad was at a younger person, and what he had for lines of communication when he went into the service, and my grandparents had to wait a long time to get information. And that just kind of makes me realize that it's funny, with all the modern conveniences we have today to stay connected and communicate with each other, sometimes people still aren't listening. But we just have to keep on trying. And then maybe it's not that they're not listening. Maybe it's the fact that the tone that we're using to communicate, or we think just because I'm using the phone or a smartphone or texting. That's another one I guess I should have mentioned. Texting, people will say, well, I sent you a text. How come you didn't respond? Well, maybe that person doesn't text, or maybe that person just doesn't look at the text until the end of the day. A common phrase I hear a lot is that, well, I sent you an email. Just because I sent you an email doesn't mean I know you read it. So again, with all these lines of communication that we still have folks out there who don't get the message. Do we give up? No. we keep on trying, and we try different ways, different tones, different avenues to get the message across. And that, I think, is probably the best thing that we can do, is keep on trying. And remember that the best way to communicate is to also listen when somebody's trying to communicate with you. I listen to folks. I try to accommodate what they need. I read the comments on these follow-up Friday chats and stuff, and I notice that some of you will communicate with each other during the comments. Somebody will say, "Hi, Rick," and there might be somebody from Nevada, and somebody sees the name, and then they're in Missouri, and they say, "Well, hi, Nevada. I didn't realize you were there." So it just kind of goes on and on and on, and it's kind of unique, I think. I'm having fun trying this. I'm still trying different ways to kind of spruce up these Friday morning meetings, hence the spruce in the background. But anyway, that's another point. And I do understand that I can't hear your groans from my bad jokes, but maybe that's a good thing. So, so I'm trying this Zoom direct into Facebook because I noticed that Barb Katie has doing it and a couple times, and I noticed it said Zoom on the lower right-hand part of the picture, and hopefully you're seeing Zoom on mine. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself at a picture of myself on the computer. But I'll find out in a few minutes if my message got out there. And again, even though it's out there, it doesn't necessarily mean you're listening. So rant as I go around the areas of trying to decide what I want to say, how I want to say it, and when I want to do it. So the trees in the background. Obviously, I am not sitting outdoors today like I did at the first of the year on my back deck. It's 9 degrees out this morning, so it's a little chilly. But with the power of Zoom, and I can do virtual backgrounds, this isn't a picture. This is a picture that I got from my trail cam. I don't know what set it off. Probably a bird flew by real quick, and I got this shot, and I wanted to use it this morning to talk to you about my next thing as I wrap up my Friday follow-ups. Is we're doing my accountability journey together. And again, promised every Friday that I would report into you. And this is my line of communication to you folks to let you know how I did. Well, today was not a good day. I gained this week, and I gained 0.2 pounds. Now, some of you might say, well, it's only 2.2 pounds, but it's still, it goes red in my calendar, and I'm not happy about it. But I went back and I looked through my notes for the week, and I was able to do 7 days of steps of over 5,000. Actually had a couple of days that I approached 8,000. So that's good. So I'm working on that, and that's getting better. So the only thing I could figure as I look back through the calendar and what happened on different days is I had a couple of days that were a little bit beyond my control. And, we've talked about things that we can or cannot control. And there was a couple of days that, like I said, were a little bit beyond my control. And, but that's fine because I got right back into my routine. I guess my downfall as we communicate and I listen to how other people deal with issues and stuff is that I am a creature of habit, probably to my own detriment, where I really have to have that balance. And I like to do the same thing at the same time every day. And again, I know I can't do that. But the beauty of it is that once something gets out of control, like I know I can get back there and I get back into my good habits and like that. When I look back at what I consumed over the week, there was nothing bad. Maybe a little bit high on the sodium, which I do have to be careful of, but hey, it happened. 0.2 pounds. For the month, that's a total loss of 11.8 pounds. So I'm on the right track. I'm doing much better than I was last year at this time, and that's a good thing. But if I wasn't able to tell anybody or have anybody hold me accountable, in other words, if I didn't have all these communication devices at my disposal, I could just trick myself. I could just fool myself and say, well, that really wasn't a 0.2 pound gain. I'll just write something else down because who's going to know? I'll know, and now you know. And that's what keeps us going. So I hope that you folks try different ways of communication. I hope some of you go on Zoom or Facebook and reach out to fellow TOPS members, especially if you're field staff. If you're field staff, you can do this with your members in your area. And that's why Barbara and I started to do this, to try to show folks that you can experiment and do different things. And trust me, Barbara and I were talking about this just a couple of days ago after we wrapped up a meeting with headquarters. And we go back and we look at some of the early recordings that we did, and we just laugh. And we made mistakes, we goofed up, and that's fine because we're doing it together. So I think it's last probably message that I want to leave for you today is that doesn't matter what you do, what type of success you had, or if you had a failure, as long as we do it together, things are going to get better. So I'll see you all next Friday, and let's hope for a good week.